The silence of the snow-covered forest was broken by a single, ragged breath.
There, under the heavy boughs of a pine tree, stood Luna.
Her golden brown fur was matted with sweat and blood, one ear torn, her body trembling not from the cold, but from sheer, agonizing exhaustion. The air was thick with the metallic scent of her fight and the musky odor of her defeated foes, a pack of wolves. She was a lone sentinel, a mother guarding a secret hidden in the shadows of her makeshift den. She had stood her ground. For hours, she had been a whirlwind of snarls and teeth, a desperate, valiant protector against the circling predators. They had wanted what was hers, and she had given them nothing but fury. Now they were gone, leaving her broken but not beaten. A profound instinct, deeper than her pain, pulsed through her veins. Her pups were safe, for now, but she was fading. The world was beginning to blur at the edges, the crisp winter air feeling thin in her lungs. She knew she wouldn't last the night. Hope was a luxury she couldn't afford, but survival was a necessity. With a soft whimper, she turned from the den and began to limp toward the scent of man, the faint, distant smell of wood smoke and civilization. Every step was a fresh wave of fire through her veins. She didn't run, she couldn't. She simply walked, a slow, deliberate death march toward a fragile chance. It was a forest ranger named Alex who saw her first. He was on his final patrol when he spotted the lone dog, staggering at the edge of the tree line. His hand went to his tranquilizer gun, his training kicking in. A wounded animal is a dangerous one. But as he got closer, he saw not aggression, but a plea. Her deep, intelligent eyes locked onto his, and in them he saw a story of desperation. She wasn't threatening him, she was asking for help. She let him get within a few feet, then turned and took a few pained steps back into the woods, looking over her shoulder. The message was clear: "Follow me." A knot of tension formed in Alex's stomach. This was against every protocol, but the raw intelligence in her gaze, the sheer force of her will, was something he couldn't ignore. He followed. She led him through a labyrinth of snow-laden trees, her bloody paw prints staining the pristine white canvas of the forest floor. She was weak, often stumbling, but she never stopped, always glancing back to ensure her unlikely follower was still there. It felt less like a rescue and more like a sacred pilgrimage. Finally, they arrived at the den beneath the giant pine. He knelt, expecting to hear the soft cries of newborn puppies. He did. But as his eyes adjusted to the gloom, he saw something that made his breath catch in his throat. There, nestled amongst 3 tiny sleeping puppies, was another creature. It was small, covered in dark fur, its features unmistakable. A wolf cub. Alex froze, his mind struggling to comprehend the scene. The torn ear, the bloody fur, the fight. It all clicked into place with a heartbreaking revelation. The wolves hadn't been attacking her to get to her pups. They had been trying to reclaim their own lost cub. And Luna, in an act of boundless, incomprehensible maternal love, had protected them all. She had fought a pack of her natural enemies to save the life of one of their young, sheltering it as her own. Tears welled in Alex's eyes as he looked from the sleeping, innocent cub to the dying mother who had shielded it. The quiet courage of this animal, the sheer compassion was overwhelming. This wasn't a story of predator versus prey. It was a story of a mother's love that knew no species, no boundaries, no logic. It was a love that simply was. He worked quickly, his movements gentle and sure. He carefully lifted the weak but trusting wolf cub, then her own precious pups, securing them in a warm blanket in his pack. Finally, he turned to Luna. He wrapped her in his own coat, lifting her battered body into his arms. As he carried her out of the forest, she licked his hand once, a flicker of gratitude from a spirit that had refused to be extinguished. Luna and her pups survived. She was hailed as a hero, but the truth of her story was quieter and more profound. The wolf cub was taken to a sanctuary where it would one day be returned to the wild. But for a brief, sacred time, in the heart of a cold forest, a mother dog had redefined the meaning of family. She taught a human that the greatest courage isn't found in the fury of a fight, but in the quiet, fierce, and unwavering power of a loving heart. And that is a lesson that can make the whole world cry.